Hi everyone. Today I want to talk to you about grandchildren. That's a great topic, right? Grandchildren, they're so wonderful. Being a parent is a wonderful thing, but there's also trials and tribulations with being a parent. You've got all the responsibility. You've got really, all the responsibility. That's the word. For taking care of these children, for nurturing them, for keeping them safe, for educating them, making sure that they thrive, right? But like I said, there's trials and tribulations that go with being a parent. And many of us have thought, and I used to think, boy, someday, maybe, because I only had the one boy. But I thought maybe someday I'll be a grandparent. And what fun that will be, You have all the joy, right? You have that innocence back, the presence of innocence. They're the hope for the future, for sure. And all the joy that they bring you as a grandparent. You get to spoil them, right? You get to spoil them and then send them home to their parents, right? And you don't have to discipline them, And I say this, within reason. You know what I'm saying. It's not your job. Your job is to be the loving grandparent and the fun grandparent, right? So you get to do all fun things. And then when you're tired, because as a grandparent, you're older, you get tired, you can send them home, You don't have to worry about, this is going to last for 24/7, unless, of course, you are raising your grandchildren. And my heart goes out. I have so much respect for people that are doing that they stepped up to the plate when maybe their adult children couldn't take care of them. So that's a wonderful thing. And you are a parent, believe me. You're not only the grandparent, but you are the parent too. But, there's a lot of joy that comes with being a grandparent. And, I hear people wherever I go, oh, my granddaughter, oh, my grandson, and they're the smartest, they're the cutest, they're just wonderful, and you get to brag, you get bragging rights. And that's a wonderful thing. And I will say that if you have that in your life, count your blessings, for sure. Whatever else is going on in your life, count your blessings. But for the rest of us, like myself, I don't get that. I have 3 grandchildren. I have 2 girls and 1 boy. And the oldest daughter, she is around 10 now, I believe. She might remember me because I was around, not a lot, but I would visit from time to time. I would send her things, always, in the mail, gifts, clothes, whatever I could. That wasn't met with much gratitude. It was almost like, don't send her anything. And I always thought that was odd, but considering that now, I'm estranged from my son, no, it probably wasn't. So there was a lot of red flags. But anyway, she might remember me, she might not. The other 2, no. The youngest I've never met. The middle one I met when she was a baby. So they don't know who I am. I could pass them on the street, they wouldn't know me. And I probably wouldn't know them either, because I don't really get to see pictures on Facebook anymore, Once in a blue moon I do, but. So many of us, myself included, are cut out of this scenario, this part of life that we so looked forward to. I know I did. I was hoping for it. And of course, it's always in God's hands, but I was certainly hoping for it. And it just didn't work out. And we don't get to do that, you know? We don't get to be the grandparent. I have to say, and yes, I will say it, because it's all about us right now, okay? Right now in this video, it's all about us. We're not going to worry about the adult children. We're not going to worry about anything else. It's all about us. We deserve this, okay? I feel shortchanged. I don't know about you, but I definitely feel shortchanged. I don't think I've forgiven my son. I haven't. I haven't forgiven him for that, for taking that away from me, which I can never really get that time back. Best scenario is one of them maybe looks me up when, you know, they're of age. If they care to do that, they certainly can. I know people do that. That's if I'm still alive. The other scenario, best case, okay, my son has a complete change of heart and moves to Florida. I will never move back, and I know I've said this in other videos. I will never move back again. Been there, done that, not doing it again. I'm too old to be moving again, and I won't do it. So best case scenario, I can go and visit. Would I do that? Absolutely. But the thing of it is, I don't get that time back, the time that I've lost. And I really feel with the older girl that we were connecting, we were bonding, and that was totally cut off. And I think to myself, what do the parents think? You know, that you're not hurting your children, that your children really won't think about it or ever care, or I just don't understand that. You're shortchanging your kids by not letting them know they're grandparents. And you can't just say, well, they have the other set of grandparents. Or, okay, that's great. But isn't 2 sets better than 1? Aren't more people that love your children better than less people that love your children? I just don't get it. I don't get it at all. I understand people being busy. I understand people having careers and family, and it's all a juggling act. And I don't expect anybody to cart me around or, you know, I don't expect that. You know, you tell me when and where and I'll be there, you know, because that's how I roll. And I'm sure many of you do too. You know, you just let me know and you'll get there because you want to be there. You want to be part of their lives. And we haven't been able to do that. Or we were, and then we were ripped away. And in some ways, I believe that is worse. So I can say I don't forgive my son for that. That's the one thing. The estrangement, for me, it's been so painful. But okay, I forgive that because I'm okay today. And I'm thankful for that also. I'm a happy woman today. I am. I'm fairly happy. But that part of it, I have a problem. I have maybe someday I will forgive that part of it also. But it doesn't mean that I don't want a reconciliation with my son. I do. But again, I have a problem with that. You know, there's a grudge there for sure. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. I you know, this topic of estrangement, I don't see how I could even do this channel without mentioning and doing a video about grandchildren, because they are as much a part of this as we are with our adult children. You know, they are, in my opinion, the collateral damage. Now, I'm not saying if a grandparent is abusive, you know, in a toxic situation, addiction. I am not talking about any of that kind of situation, because believe me, we don't expect anybody to let their children around. I don't care who they are, around a situation like that. So that's not what we're talking about here. I know there's grandparents that have a lot of problems, elderly people that have a lot of problems. And, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about 99% of our community, okay, that wanted to be a part of our grandchildren's lives, and we're just not allowed. We're not allowed. And that really gets me, that they have all the power, don't they? Our adult children have all the power. And we don't have any. And in most states, grandparents don't have any rights. I don't know what states do. I've looked into it. Florida doesn't. No, they don't. And the state that I came from, they didn't either. Maybe someday. I mean, I don't even know if it's a good thing to go after that in court, because, I wouldn't want to cause my grandchildren angst. You don't want to make it a tug of war between the parents and the grandparents. It's bad enough if people get divorced and you got the husband and the wife, the mother and the father. In many cases, just it's a bad situation, and people do have scars from those kind of situations. So I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want that at all. But do I think grandparents are important? Absolutely. Absolutely. And I just think that someday, many of these grandchildren may be questioning their parents and saying, why? Who knows what they'll say? I guess they could say anything they want to say, right? Because we probably won't be around. If we are still alive, we'll be not around them, so they can say whatever they want. But I do think it's a sad situation. I think it's a disservice to the child as much as it is to us. That's why I call them collateral damage. Just think it's a sad situation all the way around. Please let me know what you think in the comments below, and I want to thank you all for your support. Please give this video a thumbs up if you want to see more, and give me any other ideas. If you're thinking about a topic that you think might be good for this channel, I am open to suggestions. Please do something nice for yourself today, because you definitely deserve it. Do 2 things nice for yourself today. Alrighty. I love you all. Take care. God bless. See you next time. Bye-bye.